Burn Line Podcast. The burn line on a well-crafted cigar is straight and sharp as a razor, much like our wit and wisdom. And what is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, over the age of 21, you are listening to Burn Line Podcast, coming to you not live from the Hot Box, the smoky back room where deals are struck and fortunes are made, adjacent to the Phoenix Room, nestled amongst the complex of rooms that comprise Tobacco on Main Street, Westminster, Maryland, USA. And I am Johnny Midas.
And I'm El Fumo.
And we smoke cigars.
We do.
Taking the burden of consuming combustible tobacco products so that you don't have to, unless you want to.
Yeah.
So, got something pretty cool today in my Diamond Crown travel case thing, which I bought this year because it comes out every holiday, but this one had 2 cameras in it.
We smoked it, and you saw it previously.
This is the new Placensia Alma del Cielo, and this is the Celeste Vitola.
Yes.
Now, one of the things that I love about Placensia is the lack of cellophane, which is pretty fucking odd because I actually like to buy cigars with cellophane on them for a bunch of reasons. Like, I know it's relatively clean.
Yeah.
I also know I can store it in my humidor for a long time without having to worry about tobacco beetles and stuff like that, like munching their way through the collection.
Right.
Having said that, God, these are so good looking. And, of course, it is a cigar show.
Yes, it is.
We have to smoke them.
Yep.
And, as always, we're going to admire them a little bit first. So, this is a 4 7/8 by 52. 52? Or 52?
Should be 52.
52, yeah. 4 7/8 by 52. And the MSRP is $24, so this is not a cheap cigar. Placensia doesn't make a lot of cheap ones.
And it's not out of their ballpark either.
No, it isn't. It's right in there. But notice that it does have the barcode for the retailer. It has what the cigar is. It has the Vitola. It says Placensia on it. Really well done. If you're not going to put cello, having a barcode that a retailer can enter in their point of sale system, fucking top notch.
So, and it has all the info on it. I love
all
it.
the info.
Stares
So
up
they
your
did well. All right, so initial thoughts. You know, my wrapper is really good looking, but also like, I don't know, how would I say it? Not special. Like, it's medium brown.
Mm-hmm. Very veiny.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, mine is. Look at that.
Oh yeah, you have a
Yeah, look
way
at that.
veinier. But yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know, just there. The blue and the gold, love that. I could see doing like a fucking yacht in this color, or bathroom even. Yeah, I love that. That is good looking. So there you go. And it does have a footband, which, first band test, comes off absolutely perfectly. I do love the fact that Placensia, see the color?
Yeah.
Right? They don't use glue.
I slipped mine right off.
Yep, you can do that too. So, let's get this cut and lit, and then we'll talk a little bit more about this new offering from Placensia. I am cutting with my Craftsman's Bench open-ended double guillotine, and you've got your
Large ring gauge Vertigo.
All right.
The
official cutting brought to you by Lord Baltimore Distributors. The official cutting is brought to you by Lord Baltimore Distributors. Featuring proprietary blends available nowhere else, Lord Baltimore Distributors are meticulously crafted boutique cigars made in small batches for every palate. Lord Baltimore Distributors, when only the best will do. And as always, we remind you to clip that cigar with authority. No limp-wristed cutting allowed. on Burnline Podcast. And now, I didn't cut that very well. That is all me, not the cigar.
Yeah. I'm going to cut just a hair too deep, but...
Yeah, you did. You overcut a little bit.
Yep. It's alright.
Error. Bill Robinson. Hey, you like my new timepiece?
Oh, when'd you get that?
HGP Commando. They just started shipping like last week.
Nice.
So, I got one of the first.
You on like a shopping list or whatever it's called?
No. This was just on my... I do collect some timepieces, but I'm really picky because most of them are overpriced, which I own a couple of. But the HGP it's just a really solidly constructed watch, and it's reasonable.
Yeah.
In price. So, and look, honestly, the band, that's nicer than a Rolex band.
That is pretty nice.
At least it's nicer than my Rolex band. So, all right, let's go ahead and light this. You gonna do a cold draw this time?
I have a cavity on mine already.
Yeah, you do. Interesting.
How's yours look?
It's like normal. It's not going to affect anything, though, because you're not light combusting that part.
No. Well.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
All right, and I've got my Rocky Patel white and gold cross lighter. This is both a jet and a soft flame. Seen better days. I beat the hell out of this lighter.
It's got a lot of miles, right?
Yeah, a lot of miles. It's like 3 years old now. You got your Vertigo. Okay.
Vortex.
The official lighting brought to you by 2C Premium Coffee. The official lighting is brought to you by 2C Premium Coffee. Keep your day fueled with delicious coffee from 2C Premium Coffee. Featuring select beans from Bali, Kenya, Ethiopia, and around the world, 2C Premium utilizes continual roasting, so you are always getting a truly fresh cup of premium coffee. 2C Premium Coffee, morning made us. And as always, we remind you, toasted, not roasted. Treat that cigar with the love and respect it deserves, and it will return the flavor. I was talking to this guy one time, and he was one of those people that are native to America but have decided that they're islanders. You know the kind of people I'm talking about?
No, actually.
They wear beanies, man, and sort of adopt an accent, but actually, like, they're, like, just American.
Okay.
Anyway, so I met this guy, and you meet some interesting folks at cigar shops sometimes, but he was telling me, you should treat a cigar like you would a woman. I said, well, I can't remember the last time I lit a woman on fire and then stuck her in my mouth, so you're going to have to be a little more clear on that, buddy. But he said, no, you show respect. If you want the relationship with a woman, you have to be respectful. Start slow. Take her out to dinner. Whatever. You have to treat a cigar the same way. So, kind of, I think he was full of shit. But it always stuck with me as, like, treat the cigar with the love and respect it deserves.
Yeah.
Right?
Damn, man, that'd be some shit. Like, you need to go take the cigar to dinner and all this before you even cut or light it. Like, what the hell?
Speaking of which, we have got Top Shelf Sip and Smoke coming up in just over a week with, of course, Tom Cannon and Tobacco on Main Street cooperating with Covalent down the street. Shout out to Jen and Drew. And I will be there for sure. I'm going to do a live show. You got to work it out so you can be there. All right. This is the Placencia Alma del Cielo, and we are smoking the Celeste, which is a 4 7/8 by 52, basically a Robusto. I'm a good 3/16 in. What are you tasting?
Like this licorice kind of, almost like right in the middle of the nostril. Licoricey, not like super licorice, but that's the big scent that I'm getting right now.
Interesting. All right, so I've got a few things going on. First of all, it is delightfully strong. It is not a strong cigar. It's not overpowering, but it is strong enough that, like, if you retrohale, it burns.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I really like cigars in that I'm going to call this a 5+ strength. Right? Looking at it and reading about it, there's a concern because Condega is not known for the spicy Nicaraguan strong tobacco. That's Esteli.
Yeah.
Condega is actually richer, earthier, chocolatier, mellower. Typically, obviously, there's different ways to ferment it, but so I like the strength level, which I'm going to say 5+. If we're talking about body, I'd say it's mid-full. The smoke is, really like kind of chewy. You can feel it moving around your palate.
You get a mouthful with one puff.
Yep.
Not like last week's cigar where you had to double puff.
Right. Agree. Yep. One puff is all the smoke you need. Wow. I mean, my biggest flavor right now is cedar, hands down.
Yeah, a little bit of cedar. Okay, I had a weird one just now.
Yeah.
If you hold it a little bit in your mouth and then slow retro, like bacon bits that you put on your salad. Not like regular bacon, but bacon bits.
I can kind of taste that, but it might be the power of suggestion. I can also say, if you hold the smoke in your mouth and then move your tongue back and forth to kind of stir it around your mouth, and then just do a slow retro, you definitely can taste that licorice. Like, as you wave your tongue through the smoke,
yeah,
you can taste licorice. That's really interesting.
Definitely getting that cedar.
Mine has a very strong cedar component. It's really interesting because, we say cedar and there's different cedars in different cigars when we say we're tasting cedar. This one is a little more floral than woody. So some cedar tastes, it's more like this is cedar wood. This is a little more floral side of the cedar flavor.
Yeah.
Very pronounced. It almost right now feels like it might be drowning out some other tastes. And then I think there's a little bit of cinnamon graham cracker in there. It's a really good flavor, though.
A little bit of s'mores, yeah.
It's a really good flavor. Yeah, that's really juicy. So this is the Placensia Alma del Cielo. It is a new release in the Alma del line by Placencia. MSRP is like 23 and some change. It's a little, for a Robusto, it's on the steep side. As an example, the Alma del Fuego, which is a stronger cigar and has totally different taste profile, but an excellent cigar. That one's what? What does that run? 22?
Yeah, about 22-ish.
Yeah, and it's more tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
So this is on the steep side, although
So it's on par with
I think
most other Placencias, though.
and it's on par. It's also, I think it's resetting a wee bit. Like, things are more expensive.
Yeah.
I think the newer Placencias, the price point's going to be just a couple bucks higher, which $2 is 10%.
Yeah.
So a little bit about this cigar for our friends. So we went down to a sub $8 stick last week and had a whole topic, 5 world-class cigars for under $10. You can do it. It's still possible. They're getting smaller, but you can do it. And then we went a little bit back up market with this one. So this is in the, hey, I'm going to smoke something nice category. And I would say off the bat, the color scheme, the graphic design, right, it's pleasing. But the flavor, it's really good.
Yeah.
Like, it's really delicious kind of flavor. It's not going to be in everybody's wheelhouse, but it's definitely in mine.
Yeah.
You know?
So, two things that you missed, not on purpose or that you fucked up. But so the Alma del Cielo, and then the Celeste, the Tola. So Celeste is blue in Spanish. I'm sure you're familiar with that, right?
No, I thought Azul was blue.
No, Celeste as well. It's another shade of blue. So that's where they get that blue look, and I guess the whole heavenly thing.
Yeah, I mean, celestial, like it goes with. Yeah. And of course, Alma del Cielo means cigar of the night in Spanish.
What? No.
Oh, what does it mean?
It means spirit of the sky or spirit of the heavens. Depends how you want to translate it.
Okay. So, thanks for correcting me.
Yeah.
But yeah, spirit of the heavens. And here's why. This is a Nicaraguan puro. The wrapper is from Condega. And specifically from a Placencia farm that is 1,300 meters above sea level.
How many couches is that for our American viewers?
That is a lot of couches. Okay, so realistically, that is about 800 couches. Or 4,265 feet.
Hey, there we go. That's something.
Now, you might wonder, okay, what does that compare to? Right. Because that's not that high, right? So there's two ways of, like, if you're measuring a mountain, there is base to peak. What is the tallest mountain base to peak in the world?
Above sea level, that would be in the Himalayas.
It is in the Himalayas.
Oh my god, I'm blanking, and I've just read a lot about it, about dumb people dying up there.
Tom?
Mount Everest?
Thank you. Jesus.
No.
Oh, you're
Mount Everest is the highest above sea level.
That's it.
The tallest base to peak is K2, which is also in the Himalayas.
Huh.
Right? So that's one way is elevation change. You have like flat ground and then boom. So K2 is the tallest mountain from here to here.
I see. Okay.
Everest is the tallest above sea level. Right? And so we're saying 4,265 feet above sea level. Now, Nicaragua has water on two sides, so it starts at zero.
Right.
Right? And it's not that big of a country.
Right.
But how high is that? So what do we have in the U.S.? We have the Rocky Mountains. Now, their base to peak is not super high for mountains, but it's already, the ground is going up. They're in the middle of the continent. They're about 14,000 feet above sea level. So this is 1/3. It's not that high. So a mountain that you might think of that also starts at the ocean and works its way up would be Mauna Kea in Hawaii. So they have that famous hiking trail.
Yeah.
From the visitor center to the top is about 4,500 feet in elevation.
Nice.
It's about how high it is. However, a much better comparison, because of course this is a tobacco farm. Right? It's not like they're growing it on the side of a fucking cliff. Albuquerque, New Mexico. So Albuquerque is about 4,500 feet.
Really? I didn't even know.
Above sea level.
Huh.
It's not a mountain, right? And that's a little bit closer to what we're talking about. Now, if you're familiar with Albuquerque, you know that it's a cold desert.
Yes.
Right?
It really is. And then once you get east, it starts to get really flat.
Yeah. Yep. So it's what was Breaking Bad? Wasn't that Albuquerque?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Oh, you didn't? What the fuck? Wow. Okay. So anyway,
not on purpose.
Those are some comparisons for
this.
elevation, but that's where the spirit of the heavens comes from, and the whole brand. So, all right.
By the way, this is on Grandma's plot.
Grandma's plot. Oh yeah. Yes. Go ahead. Tell the story.
So they sold this plot in 1961, and then later on reacquired it when they rebranded to 1845, right? Right when they started redistributing their own stuff. Not the year, but that's what they called the company, 1845. Yep. Right around 2016. So this has been a project in the making for quite some time. Kind of a little bit of sneaky, but they're working on it. And Placentia is good for that, just like making some really cool sneaky shit.
Yes.
So there's that little tidbit.
All right. Yeah, they own a lot of stuff in the background.
Oh yeah, they do.
they
so you have no idea.
Socials and surprises. You are our marketing plan. If you think we add value to the cigar community, go ahead, like, share, subscribe. Leave us a comment if you can. Nice 5-star review. Get the word out. Beat the fucking algorithm. That's our motto. And we appreciate all of you guys that have done that. Can't remember if I shouted out Frankie Bullware, but thank you for joining us on YouTube. And John Collum. John, if you are listening, I've got something special for you. A Burnline Podcast shot glass. Go to Instagram.com, follow at Burnline Podcast, and DM your deets, and we will get you that free Burnline Podcast shot glass.
We're followed by a secret celebrity. I don't think you know.
Which one?
On Instagram.
Which one?
So he's a personal friend of mine. It's kind of, I think I've mentioned this before. He's a director.
Mm-hmm.
They have a show that just came out. It's called Comedy Pickleball Showdown.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's my friend, which he lives like down the road here.
Yeah.
So he follows us on Instagram.
Sweet.
Give us a little shout out.
So if you scroll down to the show notes, you will see our link tree, and there's a contact us button there. That is linked to burnlinepodcast@gmail.com. We tried to make it as simple as possible. Anybody can remember that, even if you're already drunk. We haven't even started the Ecuador rapper drinking game.
Yeah, I think we're good on this one.
Drop us a line, and we will feature you on the show. We do that a lot. Had some pretty good emails this week, but nothing that is making it into the show. But you could be the next one. So shoot us a line, and we will get you on here. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see more of, etc., etc., and we will make it happen. So that's pretty much it. Why don't we go ahead and go to break, and when we come back, we will do our tobacconist tip of the week. Don't go away. And now your tobacconist tip of the week with Angel Solorio.
All right, tip of the week, and we're back. So no interruptions today. So especially when you're smoking some high-end cigars like this, I know we've gone over this like way long ago, but it's kind of good to reiterate. When you're going out go ash a cigar like this, you don't want to pop a wrapper. So remember we had an argument, not me and you, but you had an argument on how to ash.
With Nick, yeah.
So anyways, what you want to do is roll the ash off of it, and then it'll come right off.
Just roll it.
Yep.
And it also won't knock the cherry out. So
correct.
You will typically end up like you did with the cone of excellence, where the not fully combusted tobacco stays on.
Yeah. So anyways, you don't want to pop, especially something like this, or when we were smoking Opus X's, you roll it. You don't want to tap it like a cigarette, sir. Or tap this up against the ashtray. I've seen that so many times. They're like, oh, my wrapper pop, fucking shitty cigar. No, dude, it was you.
Right.
It's under some stress and some heat. What's going to happen? You're going to have a break. So that was that.
Treat that cigar with the love and respect it deserves, and it will return the flavor. Oh, we're going to have to switch cameras. We're getting low on battery power. All right.
Oh, man.
So today we have a interesting topic for you guys, which is cigars and guests. Right? And so if you're into cigars, you will probably have guests at some point. You'll probably want to share cigars with guests at some point. What's a good way to handle that? How can you be polite? And it sounds shitty to say, but we do have a little bit of an issue where we don't teach manners anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see these old videos from like the 50s online where they're almost making fun of it. But it's like, manners is simply a set of rules where you don't offend somebody by accident. And so if somebody is, obviously making an attempt to have manners, then there's a lot of grace there. Like, hey, this person's trying. They're trying to not offend me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And when it comes to like house guests and stuff like that, honestly, you can fucking grow up and graduate college and everything else and never learn.
Correct.
Right? And there's some special, rules for cigars and guests, and we're going to walk through 4 guidelines that can help you to have guests and treat them well and have good manners while enjoying cigars.
Yeah. By the way, this is apart from cigar etiquette.
Yeah, cigar etiquette. This goes in that category. So the number one consideration is variety. You want to have a variety of cigars available, flavors and strengths to accommodate different folks. You're going to have some guests that, especially if you're having a cigar party, and you have some of your friends over. Some of them might be hardcore cigar smokers.
Mm-hmm.
Some might not be. Or maybe you have some guests over from work, and hey, we're going to enjoy a cigar. That's what successful people do. And it's a very cool hobby that you can share something consumable with somebody else and bond over it. But man, there's a lot of different kinds of cigars, and you don't want to throw a Neanderthal at somebody who's never smoked a cigar before, right? Or you might have some folks over, like, they like strong cigars. Like, give me that fucking strong one, right? So just, you want to plan to have a variety available. And that's really relative to the number of guests you're having,
yeah,
how much you know about them and stuff like that, right? So have a variety. And then number 2, this one is a little counterintuitive. You might not have thought of this one. Do not offer a humidor to your guest and say just pick one.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You want to maybe give them a choice, but you want to limit it to 2 or 3 choices. So it might be, this one is light floral aromatic. This one is punchy and tastes like coffee and pine nuts.
Mm-hmm.
This one is pretty strong. But you want to limit it, right? And there's a few reasons for that. One is it's not really cool for the guest to be in a situation where they have to pick, right? Because especially if they don't know anything, it can be embarrassing. They don't know. Which ones do you like? Are they taking, the one with the chocolate sprinkles? That they might not even know.
They're just going to pick the prettiest wrapper, and it could be like your Opus X, and it's gone.
And whatever you do not offer a humidor and say, you can have whatever you want. But not this tray. That's my special tray. That's just rude.
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't even come out. Just keep that away. Instead, hey, here's your 3 choices. Here's your 2 choices. Would you like this or that? Right? That puts a lot less pressure on the guest and on you, and keeps things from being awkward. Right? So between those 2, you're probably picking up on what I'm laying down. By the time we get to the end of this list, well, you're going to have like your cigar guest humidor or selection, right? Already built out.
Yeah.
Right? So, have a variety, not too much variety, but have a few different choices that sort of run the spectrum. Do not offer a humidor to your guest. Just, here's 2 or 3 choices. Which one would you like?
Yeah.
The third consideration is cost, right? Keep it reasonable and be conscious of cost. So, on the one hand, remember, anybody can Google anything nowadays and figure out how much your gift costs them, and they might, because there is the concept of social reciprocation, right? Everybody knows this. If I get you a gift, you got to get me a gift, and vice versa, right? And so, if you throw a $100 or $300 Legend cigar like we smoked on the show, you're putting somebody in a bind. It's like, well, fuck. What am I supposed to do here?
Mm-hmm.
Should I reciprocate? What's going on? And I can't even get my hands on one of those. I don't. So keep it reasonable. But don't be a fucking cheapie either, because they're gonna know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're smoking their Havana Q, and they're like, wow, that's kind of like, I'm pretty sure I can get a better cigar at a gas station. You know, and then they Google it and they're like, $1.99. You know, this guy,
Yeah.
what a cheapskate.
Yeah, what the hell?
Especially if you're talking about cigars fairly regularly. You know. And so you want to keep in mind the rule of social reciprocation. Don't, you know, it shouldn't be too expensive. Now, it's relative to the occasion. If you have all of the board members, the board of directors over to your home to talk about your multi-million-dollar acquisition, and you break out the $30 Placencias or Padrones or whatever, great. You probably should, and they don't care.
Yeah.
They can reciprocate. They probably bought you a bottle of, you know, wine or something. They probably brought it with them. It cost more than that, you know. So it is relative to the occasion, but it's important.
Yeah.
Right? And, you know, you also don't want to waste nice, expensive cigars on people that don't appreciate it. So keep that in mind as well. I have a collection of cigars that I'm not offering some people because they're meant to be enjoyed. I'll give you one because I know you're gonna love it and appreciate it. You know, whereas I have other friends and contacts where it's like, you know, they're gonna take 3 puffs on the God's Whisper, and then pop the wrapper, and then turn it to shit, and then chew on the end of it and slobber in it, and then put it down a third of the way smoked, and they're done.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you don't get to do that to this cigar. I have too much respect for the cigar, right? So, variety, selection, cost, and then the fourth one, just 4 easy guidelines, is quantity. You want to have enough for everyone, and you probably want to have some to offer as gifts on the way home. Somebody really loves a cigar. And so here's what this looks like. In terms of enough for everyone, if I offer you, hey, which one of these 2 or 3 would you like? I need to make that same offer to everybody. So if I have 10 guests and I offer them their choice of 3 cigars, I need 30 cigars, 10 of each.
Yeah.
Because everybody gets the same choice. You don't want to get to the end of the circle and be like, well, there's only one left. I guess you're getting, you know, it's like being on an airline. Do you want the lamb or do you want the toasted Pop-Tart with no filling?
Yeah.
You know? By the time it gets to you in the last row, they're like, sorry, all we have left is the toasted Pop-Tart with no filling.
Damn.
Or at least that's how it feels, even if it's the best cigar that you had.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only one left.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to feel left out. You don't want to do that to your guests, right? And then, you know, you might want to have enough to offer a take-home gift. If, you know, you don't necessarily have to do this. But if you have a guest that's like, man, I really like that. Well, here, take one for the road. You know? And, of course, that goes into what your budget is and stuff like that. Right? So let's do a quick recap. This is about cigars and guests and, you know, how to, you know, really smooth the whole social interaction, grease the wheels and stuff like that. Variety. I have a variety to choose from, but not too many. Have a small, limited selection. Do not ever give somebody a humidor and say pick whatever you want out of it. It's not fair to the guest, right? It should just be a handful. Be conscious of cost. Keep it reasonable. Remember social reciprocation. Nothing too cheap, nothing too expensive, and also your audience.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you don't cast your pearls before swine. Right? And then quantity. Have enough for everyone. So if you have 5 guests and you offer the first one of their choice of 3, there needs to be the same 3 left by the time it gets to the last one, or that's awkward.
Yeah.
So if you keep those 4 things in mind, you can always be prepared to have guests over and have a smoke with them. And we kind of put this together based on 2 or 3 emails we got that were similar. Had some questions about, you know, these kind of answer several of the questions. So, yes, in terms of should you give, you know, folks a cigar for the road, does it have to be fair? The answer is no, right? It can totally be you have 5 guests, they all smoked a cigar, you have the one guest that's like, that's fantastic, where can I get one of these? They're like, well, here, just take this one with you. That's okay, it's socially acceptable, you didn't leave anybody out, and you didn't make an offer, everybody gets one.
Right.
your guests should be fine with it.
Everybody gets an acid.
Well, if you don't want them to come back. Let's talk about this cigar. So, we're, it's a Robusto.
Yeah.
I'm just ending my first third. You're in your second third.
Dude, that cedar picked up like crazy.
Did it?
Oh, yeah. Like, it's very, very pronounced now.
So, this is what's interesting to me right now so far. This is what I would call a simple cigar. So, when we talk about flavor, there's simple, mid, and complex.
Beautiful main band test.
As usual, for Placencia, the band comes off perfectly. They do not use glue. They use fruit pectin.
Industry standard.
Even when it goes over onto the wrapper, it never harms the wrapper. So, big shout out there. So, yes, for me, so far, this is a simple flavored cigar, which means it's not changing. Right? Maybe it'll turn into a mid a little bit later on.
Yeah. I would still peg the strength at a 4.5. It honestly mellowed down just a hair.
Agree completely. I was going to say a 4. So I went from a 5+ to a 4. You're at like 4.5.
Yeah.
I think, blended 4.5 is a pretty good
man.
Call for it. It does have that floral side of cedar.
Mm-hmm.
Has not really changed or gone away.
I like the smoke volume too.
The smoke volume is pretty good, yeah.
Just right. A little pepper right there at the end of the retro.
To be honest with you, I'm not really getting a lot of pepper on
Not pepper, but cayenne. Like a hint of cayenne. Sorry.
I'm not really getting any on the smoke, but I am on my lips.
Huh.
So if I taste my lips after smoking it, there's a cayenne taste on my lips. It's kind of interesting. I think part of that has to do with the fermentation process.
Dude, this is a great smoke.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever smoked a bad Placencia.
I don't think I have either, but I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings when I say that this flavor profile, you know what this tastes like to me?
What does it taste like?
Like a Fuente.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like, can you imagine this in the Fuente portfolio?
Yeah. Actually, it could.
Kind of can.
Yeah.
Right?
By the way, the Fuente hit squad's on their way.
I'm more worried about offending the Placencias.
Yeah.
Like, they have phenomenal cigars, but this really does remind me of something that would be in the Fuente
By the way,
portfolio.
check out your ash, man. Look at those weird colors. A little bit of,
Wow.
like, actual little bluish to it. It's kind of
And like yellow and brown.
Yeah,
and there's. It is multicolored. I wonder if the tobacco really is. If you look at like, there's some really dark and there's some really light leaves.
And that was
there.
before we even like started.
Yeah, puffing on it.
Yeah.
Well, I can see all of yours since you cut the whole fucking end.
By the way, that was there before I even cut.
Sure it was.
I was below the band. Oh no, it's a freaking great smoke, man.
This is a really good cigar. It really is. I like that the smoke is kind of chewy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it has body to it. You can feel it in your palate, but it's not strong.
No. It's great volume.
And it's a huge contrast to last week,
Mm-hmm.
where the CAO Fasa Sombra had, like this acridness that coats your tonsil area and stuff. None of that. Like, zero harsh whatsoever on this cigar.
Yeah, man. That's
Which,
great.
part of that is the leaves they selected, but a lot of that has to do with aging, and there's a reason that this cigar costs as much as it does.
Yeah.
All right, so why don't we go ahead and take our last break? When we come back, we will do our cigar news of the week. our news of the week with Angel Solorio.
Alright, news of the week. No surprise to anybody. I'm not going to mention names because it's a lot, not because I'm trying to hide it or whatever. Lots of prices going up across the board because of tariffs, and don't expect them to come down even after the tariffs. So just FYI out there, if you see it, about 1 to 2% increase on tobacco prices. So there's that. And now, El Septimo's 20th anniversary cigar is shipping this week. The El Septimo Doble Gran Reserva 6x52 Toro. It has an Ecuadorian wrapper over Dominican binder and fillers from the DR, Ecuador, Honduras, and Nicaragua. So 1, 2, 3, 4 filler cigar. And it's been aged between 7 to 10 years. So
Kind of in that wheelhouse for El Septimo.
yep, want to guess the MSRP on this one? You probably know it?
45.
Oof. You're way off, sir. You're cold. You're like in the Arctic.
I don't know, 25.
No, you're in the Arctic still. Like, now you're frozen.
105?
You're getting a little warmer.
Jesus Christ.
So it's $125.
$125.
14 sticks a box.
Yeah.
Limited to 1,000 boxes. So that's what, 17 or 1,200, so 1,500 a box, something like that?
So about 5 times what it's probably worth, which is, you know, El Septimo territory.
Yeah. And then Don Dorreteo, El Vencedor 1492 debuts as well. It is a cigar that was rolled in 2004 and is going to be released this summer, so it's still going to get a little bit of aging, 21 years of aging.
That feels like an accident to me, like somebody found something in their back room by accident.
All right.
Okay, we're back.
All right.
Don did say that again.
Doroteos.
Don Dorito. That's Dorito.
Dorito.
Doroteo.
Yeah.
Don
So
Doroteo.
the name of the cigar is El Vencedor.
El Vencedor.
Yeah. So it's a
Rolled in 2004.
Yeah. El
21
Vencedor 1492 rolled in 2004.
So 21 years old.
5.5.
Jesus Christ, that cigar can have its own drink.
Yeah, that's right. So 5.5 by 54 Robusto. They uses Ecuadorian Corojo Havana wrapper, a Dominican Olor binder, and a filler that contains Dominican Corojo Havana, 2 varieties of Dominican Criollo 98 Havana, and Nicaraguan grown tobacco. I wonder if that's real Cuban. I don't know.
I don't know. It sounds amazing because Dominican Olor is good tobacco.
Never had that one, I think.
Is that Criollo?
No, there is Criollo 98.
Criollo 98.
But it's say
Damn.
Dominican Olor as its own thing.
Yeah. So it's got both of those in there.
Yeah.
That does sound like a good stick. What's the MSRP? Is that on there?
The MSRP standby is going. I don't think it's that much. Actually, they didn't even say. Buttholes. Yeah.
Yeah. So probably less than 125. All right.
Maybe less than 125.
Well, we shall see. Yeah, I still feel like somebody made those
Prices-
and forgot about them.
Oh, that's why. My bad. So, sorry, that's my fault. $29 a stick. Hey, look at that.
I'll probably try it for that. I mean 21-year post-roll age. Yeah,
And it's
I
got
feel
some
like
pretty interesting fillers on it.
yeah, I feel like that might be something that I make a stupid purchase on. All right,
Not bad.
what else? We should smoke it on the show, dude.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, speaking of merger time.
M&A time.
Yeah. Best Cigar Prices and Alliance Cigar merged this a week or two ago.
Okay.
So that just means, they're going to be able to be more into the Northeast with their distribution and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Because Best Cigar Prices is based out of Reading, I believe, in PA.
Yeah.
Correct? Yeah, not too far from CI. Because there's like a weird, large-ass distribution center for cigars up there. Just random. So, there's that. And then Lure Fish Sticks is shipping next week.
Oh, Lure Cigars.
Yeah.
I follow them on Insta. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually a cool pack. It's 5 sticks, and it's it's in a Bovita bag. That's pretty cool.
It looks like a bag of fish sticks
Right.
you'd get in the freezer of the supermarket.
And
yeah.
it's a short
Cool branding.
box press,
Yep.
and it's encouraged to be smoked while fishing or golfing, something that we talk about.
Hey.
Look at that. So it's a cool 4 1/4 by 46 press Rothschild Vitola. So it's a Nicaraguan puro. So that'd be dope. This includes a Habano 2000 wrapper over a Ligero binder from Esteli and fillers from Esteli, Jalapa, and Ometepe. Ooh, so they've reached over to Placensia.
It sounds like a really good stick. So, I wonder if Placencia's making them. Sounds like it.
It's made at Tabacaleras Pages de Nicaragua.
Oh, okay.
But that's not a Placencia.
I don't think that is.
Unless it's like a subsidiary of Placencia. Because they own a lot of shit.
They do. Yeah, secretly. Yeah. Could be.
Dude, I mean, $8 a stick in a 5-pack?
That's pretty good.
Like, let's go. That's actually approachable.
That's a good price. It sounds like a great cigar for that price.
So, available after May 23rd, next week.
All right.
Yeah. So, that's where we're at.
That's it. News of the week.
Yeah.
All right. El Puma, appreciate that. All right, so huddle up because I've just got this damn phone camera now. All right, so we're smoking the Placencia Alma del Cielo, the Spirit of the Heavens. And haven't got to the last third. You're in your just about there.
Mm-hmm.
I have not had any flavor changes or additions or
Same
subtractions.
thing.
Yeah. So I would call this simple in terms of flavor and
almost mid
or complexity, but it is full bodied, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely has a full body to it, and it is delicious. I think 4.5 strength.
Yeah, still.
I think 4.5. So pretty good there. Very approachable. I think you don't have to be a seasoned smoker to smoke this. So why don't we go ahead and rank the cigar? And we'll start with presentation. Placencia always does a great job, and they're the only company to score an 11 on presentation.
Yeah.
And the only company that came close was Fuente on the 25, and if you just can't see the cigar because they're in the tin. That's why they got a 10. They could have got an 11. Fuente, you were so close.
I mean, that Fuente box you unveiled for Christmas was dope as shit.
That was pretty good, yeah. But anyway, I don't have a box. I just bought 2 sticks for the show, but we'll show y'all that packaging, of course, in the video. I've got an 8. I think it's a
8. It's a normal Placencia.
I think it's a great presentation.
Cool,
it's not
blue
9
box.
or 10,
but
cool blue box. The gold and the blue, this particular Cielo blue, I think goes really well.
Yeah.
So
box of 10, right?
Yes, box of 10. Let me go ahead and mark this score down. And so presentation, we've got an 8. What about construction?
I'm going to give it a 9.
9.
I didn't have
any reason to not give it a 10?
I saw that you had the same issue. Like once you get past the half point, for some reason
it doesn't burn evenly.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I agree. That's the one thing that's probably keeping it from being a 10.
Yeah,
is it starts to burn unevenly. So not bad. And then price. So coming in, and really we're talking about value, not absolute price, but coming in at $24
8
a stick for a Robusto. Oh, really? I had like a 4.
4? Okay. I can see that, yeah. I was just going off because it is a Placencia. I'm like, okay.
It's a great stick. It's just, I mean, fuck. We just talked about, like, the Hemingway short story for $7.50.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't that much more tobacco than that. And that is probably a better stick, actually. Probably a better blend. I mean, certainly they're neck and neck at least.
Yeah.
So I don't think... I really can't hit a 5 on it for Robusto. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? We can split the difference and say 6.
Say 5. Well, let's do 5.
5?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what you're bringing to the table?
I think so. I mean, it's just not a good enough stick to charge $24 for a Robusto. Mm-hmm. If you're a Placencia fan, no price is too high. We know how that goes. But especially in then trying something new, it's like, really? I don't know. So the last two, are definitely our most, what do you call it, like subjective.
Objective, subjective.
Yeah, the last two are most subjective, and of course that's experience and flavor, and we're gonna start with flavor. So, I mean, for me, I've got like a 9 for flavor, but I have a certain palate, right?
Yeah.
So, give me your thoughts on flavor.
I'll give it an 8, only because I expected a little bit more out of a Placentia cigar.
Maybe a flavor change or two.
Yeah. Like, this is honestly Placentia's most simple cigar.
Mm-hmm.
Not in an offensive way, just like it's the most simple that they've made as far as flavors go.
It's the simplest I've had, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really not changing flavor. By the way, did you notice as it neared the final third, it started burning pretty hot?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Little interesting there. Not a huge fan of that in cigars. But anyway, so, all right, so we'll do an 8. I think that's fair. Like, it is a delicious cigar. It really is. And so that brings us to experience. And, man, I mean, talk about a fucking, like, almost disappointingly limited use case.
Yeah, because of what it is.
Because, at that price, like, so many things go out the window. At least for me and you, and I think your average smoker. It's like, I'm not doing anything with this cigar except enjoying it.
Right.
No
once yard work, no dog walking.
Yeah, once I'm in the, and then we didn't talk about taxes and stuff, but you're talking mid-20s for a cigar.
Maybe golfing? I'm not a golfer.
I'm not, I'm not smoking this at a football game. I'm not really doing anything. Like, I'm smoking it in the lounge. I'm smoking it, by myself. I'm enjoying it. I think that's about it. Now, you can give it as a gift. It makes a nice gift. It might not be nice enough for, like, hey, congratulations on getting promoted to CEO,
Yeah.
But,
I don't know. It's a Placentia. I'd enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of, for experience, I'm at like a 6 because it's a great experience, but it's super limited.
Yeah, it really is. You got to pay attention to it.
Yeah. I mean, at this price.
Kind of like a woman. You have to pay attention to it when it's talking to you.
More life advice from El Fumo. All right, so that brings the total score of the Placencia Alma del Cielo Celeste 4 7/8 by 52, basically a Robusto, to 36. So high 30s, mid 30s, pretty good. What really brought it down, like, the presentation was really good, the construction was really good, the flavor was really good. Those 3 things were really good. It's just overpriced. I mean, I hate to say it, it's just not competitive.
Yeah.
Really limits the experience, and the value's just not there.
Yeah, I think 20 to 22 for a Placentia would have been okay.
I don't know, man. For a Robusto, remember, you can get an Alma del Fuego for 17.
Dude, a Cosecha, what is it, 140?
Yeah, like a Robusto Cosecha 151 we smoked on the show. Yeah, that was like
15?
No, it was like 11 something.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah, for the Robusto. Toro's probably more. So, you have some really good blends, even from Placencia, under $15. And, this one's 25.
Yeah, and then you can buy secret Placencias for like $9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do make cigars for other people.
Yeah. If you know what you're looking for, you can get them really cheap.
So I think it's a little bit of a shame because this is a really nice cigar. I like the flavor, and I think if this was in the $12 range, it would be in my regular rotation.
I think you could probably see this as a over 40 score.
For sure, yeah. At that
the price and
for sure, yeah.
Experience, yeah.
But at twice that price, I mean, I'm probably never buying one again. It was a great experience. When I go to pick up a Placencia from the shelf, I'm not picking this one.
Yeah.
I can get more Placencia for the same amount, or the same amount of tobacco for way less. So
I'd buy an Alma Fuerte Salmon for 24.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. I was thinking that in my head, and it's 40% more tobacco,
dude, and it's a goated stick,
and
too.
it's a great stick. So yeah, I mean, it's certainly not meaning to be negative on it because it's delicious, and I think people should try it. But I can really see this being an enjoyable one-time stick for so many people.
Mm-hmm.
It's never going to end up in the rotation because it just costs too much. So there you go. On this episode of Burnline Podcast, we smoked the Placensia Alma del Cielo Celeste 4 7/8 by 52 with an MSRP of $24. Nicaraguan Puro, wrapper from Condega, 1,300 meters above sea level. By the way, do you know the highest point of Nicaragua? How high does the whole country go?
No, actually I don't. Would it be Ometepe?
No, it's Pico Mogatan, and it's 2,100 meters above sea level.
Oh.
About 6,800 feet.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's still really short.
Yeah.
Like that's, Denver's higher elevation than that,
Yes.
So, with a score of 36, thanks for joining us this week on Burnline Podcast. Sorry about the camera battery issues, but we made it work. So we will see you guys again next week. God bless.